guys? And welcome to day one of Speak About It with Dani Talk Show podcast. I am your host, Dani, and this feels so good. I am so happy to be here. It has been a long time coming. I've been talking about this thing for 4 years, guys, and I've been putting in the work for 1 year. And I just feel like I am living proof that it is on God's timing and not our own. It's God's timetable. So often we get in our own way. So with this thing, I had to get out of my own way. And it really required a lot from me. I really had to trust God and fall forward no matter what it looked like. And I just find this so often, we just, we believe, but we don't trust. So I contribute this whole thing to God, to me consulting with Him and trusting Him. This has truly been a faith walk. And so before we get started, let's start with the scripture. Let's start with Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So that's what this thing is. This is a faith walk, and I'm super excited. We have so much to talk about. So I know you guys are probably thinking, what took it 4 years and 1 year of putting in the work? So what I will say was me and my perfectionist ways and just man in my head so much versus really just trusting God, trusting that He will fill in the gaps wherever I lack at. He is my strength and my weaknesses. So really having a full trust with Him. And one of the biggest things for me was choosing a podcast name. So I had like over 50 names written down. Before arriving at the name, I discovered the name from just having a conversation with my mom. When we jump on the phone, we always say, speak about it. So it's just so funny, like you're looking for names, you're searching, you're trying to figure out what resonates with you, and then it's right in front of you. So I just say too, like, again, it's God's perfect timing because I came up with the name in this last year. So yeah, it's a timing thing. I feel like it's all about timing. Another thing was deciding on what subjects I wanted to talk about, thinking about things that I'm passionate about instead of, for example, talking about a business topic, really narrowing it down and figuring out what my niche was. So that took a moment, deciding the subjects. Another detail that took some time was creating my show's artwork, really figuring out something that's authentic, that is capturing for my viewers, and making it not like everyone else's. So that also took a lot of time. I mean, I just remember just going back to the drawing board and just throwing artwork away. And then also finding people to create my art that I really didn't like. So I wasted some money there. That is what goes into the whole developing your show piece. And so that took a while. Thinking about also, again, show ideas, finding out how I want my show to flow each week and making sure there's a structure and that my ideas are somewhat uniformed out. That'll make it easier for you guys to follow along and stay interested. Lastly, finding the time to be able to do this thing because my hands are in so many pots. I needed to find the time to develop the show, especially with me living in Los Angeles and having my hands again everywhere and really being committed to all the things that I'm doing. Living in Los Angeles, you have to be multifaceted. It's good to be that and do a little bit of everything. And you truly can maximize on your opportunity by having a lot of different skills in your arsenal. And that's really how you make an impact in this city and survive living in LA because y'all, it is not for the weak. And we're going to discuss all that. I'm here to give you the raw, the truth, and tell you my experience. With that being said, living in Los Angeles, I know you guys see the glitz and glamour of it all, but again, it is not for the weak. It is a lot of work with an extra K.
So, why do you think some people are leaving LA and choosing to live in other cities now?
Mm, that's a really good question. So, speaking from the entertainment standpoint, I would say that we have not really fully recovered from the pandemic or the writer strike. Um, we just still have not gotten in the groove of things. I feel that the money has dried up a bit. Speaking from my own experience, when it comes down to my acting auditions, I would get those coming in back to back to back. But now for me, it's definitely hard to measure when those auditions are going to come in. I'm still getting them, but it's not as frequent as it used to be. Um, and so I think for a lot of people, they are migrating to different cities because the market looks a little different. And maybe in another city, they're trying it out because maybe more auditions, there's more work there. And then, we have to consider the price of living here. Um, it's very expensive.
Go into a little more detail of, let's say, someone who doesn't live here and wants to understand why it is so expensive. Say someone who lives in Arkansas or Atlanta.
Mm, those are all not the cheapest cities either. I think, we are experiencing a major shift in our economy. What I will say, for a one bedroom apartment, if you got a one bedroom in Los Angeles, just to get a decent, livable size, nice one bedroom, you're looking to pay somewhere between $2,500. Um, and then if you're looking to get a decent sized home and a nice home, it's going to cost you about $1 million. So that speaks for itself. It is very expensive. If you're looking to get a two bedroom or like in a more modern apartment, you're looking between anywhere between 3,000 between $5,000. So I can see why it can seem very expensive. And then according to Numbeo, just for a meal, an inexpensive meal at a restaurant can run you $24.03, or a cappuccino, a regular size cappuccino, guys, can run you the cost of $5.41. A gallon of milk, $4.65. A gallon of gas is $5.34 plus some. So, our utilities, basic utilities, electricity, heating, cooling, water, garbage, $190. So, you do the math on it. It's expensive. I can see for anyone who lives in Los Angeles, it may be better for you to live somewhere else to get a bang for your buck.
So, what are some pointers that you can give to someone who is still trying to chase their dreams and actually move to LA? Like, how can they navigate the financial problems? What pointers can you give to maybe someone who's still trying to move in the town into LA and chase and pursue their dreams?
Would say that it's not where you're at, it's where you want to be. So, you got to have grit. You got to have that dog in you. You got to have that hustle. You have to have that hustle. You got to get it out the mud. You have to really want to do the work and work because, like I said, one thing about Los Angeles is yes, it may be one of the most expensive cities in the world, but the opportunity that you have, I done lived in New York and Maryland, and the opportunities that I've got here, I've been able to tap into so many fields. I feel like you can do so much here, and there's so much opportunity. You just got to go out there and grab it. That's one of the biggest pros. And then we have the most amazing weather. There's so much history here. There's so much to do in the city. And so I would say anyone who is looking to move here and follow their dreams, you can do it. And you just have to trust God. You have to trust Him. You have to have faith. I am a living testimony that I would not be here. It's only by the good Lord. Another thing that I would say, if you are planning to move to Los Angeles, when you come here, don't forget what your mission is. Really see your vision all the way through. I spoke about all the opportunities that are out here that you can maximize on. You know, you think about the bills that you have to pay and your overhead, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go get this 9 to 5, which is great because you need something to sustain you, but you don't want to lose sight of what you moved out here for. It's a land of a bit of lost dreams too. So many people get moved out here for one thing, and then they get shifty, and then they get wrapped up into something else that may have not necessarily been what God was calling you to do. And so they get off course. So I think it's important to, have a bit of a plan, but don't lose sight of what your mission is. Also, having a good group of people around you is also very helpful. Having those people around you can really uplift you. Like, it's one of the things, if your circle is evolving and growing and you guys are finding different ways to uplift each other and hold each other accountable, like, you want those people around you, because that they can be the group that sort of catapults you to the next level, or keeps you on your grind and keeps you locked in and focused on what you moved out here to do. So having a good group around you is another thing that I would say is so important. Finding your circle, or maybe it may not be a circle. Maybe it may just be one person, or it may just be you and God for a season. And that is okay. But just remembering your mission, just not forgetting your assignment. I feel like God has us all here on a certain assignment, and we got to get it done. So I think that is really and truly the most important keys of when making the move here, and not forgetting your values and your moral code, because this industry, even if you're outside of the industry, even if you're doing different jobs, you're not being from here and being from somewhere else, and not forgetting your values and your moral code, because this industry, again, even if you're outside of the industry, even if you're doing different jobs, not being from here and being from somewhere else, you can forget a little bit of who you are, or forget your identity, because